So using this priority list, we have to schedule this project with two processors. After that, we need to answer these questions. So first of all, let me copy the priority list down here. So I'm just copying the very same thing from here. And now, to make the schedule, I have to use a list processing algorithm. So this is our list processing algorithm, and there are 4 steps I need to take: 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the first step is, on the diagram or the priority list, circle all the tasks that are ready. So I can see that from this diagram, these tasks T1, T2, T3, and T4, there is no error coming from any other vertices to these tasks, so they are ready. So for example, T5 is not ready because to make T5 ready, you need to finish T1 and T2 first. That's the meaning of this error. So now 1, 2, 3, and 4 are available. So I'm just going to circle 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now schedule means we have to draw time scale with the processor. Processor 1, processor 2. In this problem, we have asked to use the 2 processor. So I'm using 2 processor here, and I'm dividing time scale in the interval of 5. You might make it in the interval of 10 or 1 or 2. That's up to you. I'm making it up to 35, and even after that, if I need more time, I can keep going like this. So let's go back to the list processing algorithm. Step 1 is done. Circle the priority list. Step 2, assign to each available processor. So now at this time, P1 and P2 both are available. So we're going to assign these available tasks in order. So you can see that there are 4 circles. 4 of the tasks are available. So T4 comes first on the priority list. So I'm going to assign T4 to the first one and T3 to the second one. And by looking this information, this diagram here, I can see that 4 takes 6 days and 3 takes 2 days. So 6 days goes up to this point. 2 days means just here, maybe. So on day second, so if you go further under this list processing algorithm, move forward in the time until a task is completed. Mark the task as completed, perhaps by crossing out the task. If any new tasks become ready, mark them as such. So on day second, T3 will be done. And now if T3 is done here on the diagram, I can see that T7 will be immediately available. So I have to make T7 available by, just drawing a circle here. So this is now updated available task list. So I can see that T7 comes first on this available task list. So I have to assign T7 to the P2. So T7 takes 3 days, so 2 plus 3 is 5. So on 5 days, T7 will be done. You can see that P1 is still busy with T4 because to complete the T4, P1 takes 6 days. So on 5 days, T7 is done. So if we go back to the diagram, we can see that T7 is done, but that would not help us to make this T8 available, because to make the T8 available, you also have to finish the T6 and then T2. So nothing will, come up, the new task available here. So now we have to go back here and then pick the, already available task, which is, we can see that T2 is already available. So I'm going to assign T2 to the processor P2, and T2 takes 4 days, so 5 plus 4 is 9. But on day 6, T4 will be done, so we need to just cross the T4. And if T4 is done, so where is T4? T4 is here. It would not help us to make anything available because you can see that it's just going directly to the end. So the only available task at this moment is just T1. So I'm going to assign T1 here, which is 11 days. So 6 plus 11 is 17. But on the 9, which is 3 plus 3, 7, and then 2, which is 9, day 9, this T2 will be done. And I can see from the graph, if T2 is done, then at least T6 will be available. Make sure that here, even after T2, T5 won't be available, because to make this T5 available, you also have to complete the T1, but T1 is still in progress. So after done with the T2, T6 is available. So I'm going to make a circle here on the T6. And then because that comes first on the priority list, so we're going to assign this T6 to P2, which takes 10 days. So 9 plus 10 is 19. But when we move forward, we can see that T1 will be done on day 17. So I'm going to cancel this T1 here, which means completed. Now, because T1 and T2 both done, so T5 will be available now. So the next available task on this priority list is T5. So I have to assign that T5 to the P1. And we can see that T5 takes 8 days, so 17 plus 8 is 25. But while P1 is busy with T5, the P2 will be, done with the T6 on day 19. So T6 will be done on day 19. So we can just go back here on the diagram and we just cross the T6. After T6 is done, because T7 is already done, we can see that T8 is available now. And that is the only available task at this point. So I'm going to assign this T8 to the next available processor, which is P2. And T8 takes 7 days. So 19 plus 7 is 26. But on 25 days, T5 will be done. So we're going back here on the diagram and cross the T5. And we can see that after T5 is done, T9 will be immediately available, but not T10. Because for T10, T10 has to wait for the T8. So T9 will be available. So I'm going to circle the T9 here and assign this T9 to the processor 1. And by looking here, we can see that T9 takes 12 days. So 25 plus 12 is 37. But on 26 days, T8 will be done. So I'm going to cross it. And I will go back here on the diagram and cross the T8 even here. So now T5 and T8, both of them are done. So T10 will be available on the list, which is here. And now I'm going to assign T10 here to the processor P2, and which takes 9 days. So 26 plus 9 is 35. Yeah. So on 35 days, T10 will be done, but still the processor P1 is busy with T9, which will be done on T9 is 12 days, so 37. This is 37. From 35 to 37, this processor P2 has to be idle. So this is our complete schedule. So altogether, for the processor P1 and P2 using this priority list, we can see that now everything is done. All tasks are crossed. They need 37 days to complete the task. Now, if we go back here and try to answer the question, we can see that task 6 is done by, where is the task 6? Here is the 6. It is done by P2. So 6 is done by P2, processor P2. And starting time is, you can see that 9 days. Here it is done by P2 and its starting time is 9 days. Task 8 is done by, what is 8 here, which is again P2, and its starting time is 19. So these are the answer for this particular question. So always to make the schedule, don't forget that you need to use the list processing algorithm.